I woke up in the middle of the street. No phone, no shoes, and no idea how I got 30 miles from my apartment, except for the faint smell of that damn couch still clinging to my clothes. It started with a Craigslist ad. Free couch, minimal wear. Moving into my first off-campus apartment with furniture cobbled together from thrift stores and hand-me-downs. A free couch? Hell yes, weird rule? Whatever people on Craigslist are weird. Must pick up today. The house was an old 2-story, half the windows boarded up. Steve answered the door looking like he hadn't slept in a week. Gaunt face, twitchy hands. He barely made eye contact as he led me into a musty living room where the couch sat. One rule, do not sit on it after midnight. Ever. I'm serious. I was a broke college sophomore. I don't know what it is, but something comes through when someone sits on it past midnight. Hauled it home with the help of my roommate, Nick. He joked about the haunted Craigslist couch all night. I even fell asleep on it a few times after long study nights. Nothing happened. I figured the guy was just mentally fried, probably on something. A sort of colorless black that swallowed everything around me. I didn't believe it either. Until my brother. He stopped. Just don't, okay? Almost like cold, damp stone under thin fabric. I replied to the ad, and a guy named Steve messaged back almost immediately with an address on the edge of town, right next to my ear, then whispering. Dozens of voices overlapping. It was nicer than I expected. Deep green velvet, vintage-looking, heavy wood frame. No tears or stains, just old. Not like falling, it was pulling me down, like quicksand made of shadow. I saw flashes of light below me, glimpses of things I can't explain. Faces pressed against fabric, hands clawing from inside the cushions, eyes that blinked without eyelids. You sure you want to give this away for free? I asked. I was 30 miles from campus, in a rundown part of town I'd never been to. No ID, no phone, no wallet, just the clothes I'd passed out in. I couldn't understand, but I felt the meaning. Hunger, loneliness, hatred. He nodded, eyes darting to the clock. 11:42 p.m. You can take it. Just don't sit on it after midnight. I chuckled. Huh? Like gremlins? He didn't laugh. I'm serious, he said again. I thought he was nuts, but I took the couch anyway. It became a running joke. We nudge each other near midnight. Better not sit down, or you'll summon the couch demon. Music, drinks, the usual. Around 12:15 a.m. I collapsed onto the couch, half drunk, ignoring the stupid midnight rule. Someone even teased me about it, and I raised my drink like, to couch demons. By week 2, the couch was the centerpiece of our living room. Then came the Friday night party. Nick invited a few people over. Everyone laughed. It was funny. Until it wasn't. Because sometime in the middle of the night, I woke up. At first, I thought I was dreaming. Everything was dark. Not lights out, dark, impossibly dark, and I couldn't move. My back was still pressed into the couch cushions, but they felt different. Not soft, not warm. There was a sound too, faint at first. Like breathing, but not mine. Raspy, ragged. They weren't speaking English. Or maybe they were. I tried to scream, but my mouth wouldn't open. The couch began to sink. Then, I was in the middle of a street. The sun was rising, and the asphalt burned my bare feet. I hitchhiked back to the apartment. When I opened, I didn't open the box until the second night, because I had to break the lock open with a hammer. It started with a Craigslist listing for vintage decor. The pictures showed an old wooden chest with rusted hinges, brass accents, and a large iron padlock on the front. Weathered, heavy looking, a bit ominous, but it matched the aesthetic I was going for in my new apartment. The listing read, "Antique storage trunk, real wood. Great for decoration or repurposing. Box is locked. I don't have the key. $30 oboe. Must pick up." I messaged the seller. He replied quickly. His name was Alan, and he lived about 30 minutes outside the city, near a wooded area I didn't recognize. I figured he was one of those reclusive collectors, or maybe a dude trying to clean out his grandpa's basement. I drove over the same evening. His place was weird. He didn't say much, just pointed at the trunk in the garage. It was one of those old ranch-style homes with faded siding and a backyard full of random junk-rusted bikes, pieces of broken fencing, even an old birdcage hanging from a tree with nothing inside. Alan was in his late 50s, pale, hollow-cheeked, with nicotine-stained fingers and sunken eyes. "Don't ask me what's in it. Been in the family for years," he mumbled. I spent about 30 minutes trying to pick the lock with a bobby pin and a YouTube tutorial. Nothing. I told myself I'd leave it as is, just for looks. I half laughed. "You never tried to open it?" He just stared at me. Didn't want to. I took the box. Back home, I set it in the corner of my living room. It was heavier than it looked, dense, like it was packed with something. But it gnawed at me. I had to know. On the second night, around 2 a.m., I grabbed a hammer and chisel and forced the latch off. The lock snapped with a sickening crack. Old cloth. The smell of mildew and copper. Please, I don't know how long it's been. Not ancient, not corroded. And something wrapped in black velvet. I thought, oh God, he said it would only be a minute. He locked it. He locked it and left me here. Inside, dust. I pulled it out. A small handheld cassette recorder. It looked like it hadn't been touched in decades. But when I flipped it over, I noticed a fresh-looking battery steel inside. The cassette was already in the deck, labeled only with the date, April 1996. Curious, I hit play. The tape hissed and came the voice, muffled, panicked, pleading, like it had been recorded in a tight wooden space. Like the person had actually been inside a box. "Hello? Please, if you're hearing this, please get me out." There was a pause, and the sound of frantic breathing. He put me in the box. I thought it was a joke. I felt my blood go cold. There were scratching sounds, muffled thumps. The voice sobbed, "Please, I can't breathe. I can't move. Please." The audio warped, distorted. Something thudded against the microphone hard, followed by a wet, choking gasp and silence. I sat frozen, rewound, played it again. Same thing. Couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Could hear someone outside, laughing softly. It was back in my living room the next morning. Dirt on the carpet, like it had crawled back. What chilled me wasn't just the voice. It was the acoustics. The way the audio echoed, just slightly. The next morning, I examined the lid of the chest more closely. On the inside, faint but unmistakable scratch marks. Dozens. Long, shallow grooves etched into the wood like someone had been clawing to get out. I called the seller, but the number was disconnected. Over the next few nights, strange things started happening. I'd wake up to the recorder playing by itself. Always the same clip. The audio got louder each time. The voice more desperate. One night, I found the cassette on my pillow. I hadn't touched it in days. That same night, I dreamed I was trapped in the box. I tried to throw the chest away, but when I dragged it to the dumpster behind my apartment, I don't know what was in there. I don't want to know. But last night, I woke up to a new recording. I never pressed play. The voice was whispering now. Calm, too calm. I'm out now. Your turn. They told me the house had been condemned for over a decade, but I swear, I heard footsteps above me that night, and someone calling me by name. I was desperate for money. One night only. 7 p.m. to midnight. Light duties. You don't need to check on him. But then I noticed a small black and white screen set into the corner table beside the couch. It was on, faint static humming. Then the screen flickered, and I saw a room. Crib, rocking chair, a mobile turning slowly overhead. No baby, just the empty room and shadows. I texted back, "Is he asleep?" No answer. "Just stay downstairs and listen for the monitor. Cash paid at end. My son is quiet." There was something different. The mobile wasn't moving anymore, and the rocking chair was. Very slowly, back and forth. I stared, frozen. There was no sound. The house looked even worse. We didn't go in. We didn't need to, because taped to the front door, fluttering in the breeze, was a piece of yellowed paper, scrawled in ink, just the faint creak of wood and that hissing static. Then my phone buzzed. "House is out in Fairview. Please respond with availability." I grabbed my bag, headed for the door, but it was locked. The knob wouldn't turn. It wasn't just jammed. It was like it had been bolted shut from the outside. I started pounding on the windows, yelling for help. No response. Then I noticed something on the monitor again. A shape. Something standing behind the crib. Unmoving. Vaguely human. Not a baby. Not a child. Just tall and still. My phone lit up one more time. I ran to the back, to the kitchen door. Same thing. That's when I heard it. Footsteps above me. Slow. Heavy. Then a thud. And again. Coming closer to the stairs. I backed away, nearly tripping over the dusty rug, and my phone buzzed again. Rent was late, my car needed a new battery, and I was surviving on boxed mac and cheese and stale cereal. So when I saw the Craigslist ad for a one-night babysitting gig offering $300 cash, I didn't hesitate. Looking for a responsible sitter. It wasn't even that far, maybe 25 minutes from where I lived. The footsteps stopped halfway down the stairs. Then, silence. Eventually, I heard voices. Real ones. Outside, a group of teens had snuck onto the property. Apparently, the place was a local dare spot. Haunted babysitter house, they called it. They kicked the front door open, laughing until they saw me. I ran past them, didn't say a word, and drove like hell back to town. I emailed, got a quick reply with the address, and was told simply, "Come at 6:45. I'll explain everything when you arrive. Thank you." I didn't even get a name. The place was tucked down a long gravel road lined with thick trees. By the time I pulled up, the sun was starting to dip behind the branches. The house was unsettling. A 2-story farmhouse, all wood and shutters, paint peeling in big flakes. The porch sagged, no lights on. Still, I figured maybe it was one of those cheap on the outside, cozy on the inside situations. I knocked. No answer. Knocked again. Still nothing. I texted the number from the ad. "Hey, I'm here. Is this the right place?" No reply. I tried the doorknob. It opened. Now, I know what you're rethinking, but I was broke and stubborn and figured maybe the guy was just running late or putting the kid to bed. I stepped inside. It was freezing. The air felt damp and heavy, like the house had been sealed up for a long time. The wallpaper was yellowed, curling at the edges. Dust coated everything. The furniture looked ancient. The whole place smelled like mildew and old wood. There were no family photos. No toys. No signs of a child living there at all. "Hello?" I called out. "I'm the babysitter. Is anyone here?" Nothing. I should have left. I know that. But I didn't. I sat down in the front room and waited, phone in hand, refreshing my messages. The minutes crawled by. My signal was barely 1 bar. At 7:08 p.m., I finally got a text back. "Thanks for coming. He's upstairs." Attached was a photo. A grainy baby monitor. The old kind with the static screen and night vision. I looked around. I hadn't seen a monitor. At 7:34, the monitor crackled. The camera angle hadn't changed, but now, "Please don't go upstairs. You'll scare him." No name. Just that. I jumped off the couch. I couldn't do this. "Don't make noise. He doesn't like noise." I wanted to scream. I didn't care about the money anymore. "He's very excited to meet you." Then the monitor went black, and the footsteps began descending the stairs. I hid in the coat closet. I stayed there for what felt like hours. The next morning, I went back with a friend in broad daylight. Sitter needed 1 night only. 7 p.m. to midnight. Good with children. And below that, in smeared pencil, just one more word. "Please."